So hi guys, almost a week back I had uploaded a video telling my backstory regarding how I got an All India rank of 10 in the AILET 2025 paper, and it got an unexpected response. A lot of you guys commented that you guys want to know my strategy, and that is the video that I have come up with today. So, for those who don't know, I got a rank of 10 in the AILET 2025 paper, and I was a gap year student. This was my second time giving the paper. I had given CLAT and AILET 2024, and I also gave CLAT and AILET 2025. I took a full drop, and today I'm going to tell you all of the methods and the strategies that I applied in my drop year. There were a lot of comments asking me what books I used, what were my GK sources, and how much time I gave to each section, my strategy with regard to mocks, and what I used to do in one day. So I'm here to address all of that. So I think the second time around in my drop year, something that I really focused on was not endlessly studying so much that my sleep schedule is getting affected, because I think this exam wants your brain to be well rested and like you to be well rested as well. So physical and mental health was very important in this exam. So I was like that I'm not gonna sacrifice my sleep a lot. So I used to wake up at around 9 to 10 a.m. My breakfast would be me reading a newspaper and then having my breakfast. So that would go side by side, and I tried to complete the newspaper in a span of 25 to 30 minutes because I wanted to increase my reading speed. Even one day before AILET and CLAT, I read the newspaper and didn't stop because I incorporated that as a habit. Newspaper reading should be a part of someone's daily habit and not just competitive exam preparation. So that after reading the newspaper and getting done with breakfast, I would usually have a to-do list. So I would start studying for one subject, the target for that week that we were given by my coaching. So I would focus on that, and around 2 to 4, which is the usual timing of the exam, there were mocks. So that I used to give 2 hours to the mock, obviously, and then 2 hours to the mock analysis as well. After giving the mock, I would take a 1 hour break and then I'd analyze a mock. So it would still be fresh in my mind, the mock. So now that we're at the topic of mocks, I would like to highlight two very important points that I used to keep in my mind during mock analysis. Firstly, mock analysis is extremely important. It's more important than giving the mock, because if you're not analyzing your mistakes, then there's no point giving a mock. The two most important points are, firstly, that not only go through your wrong answers but also go through your correct answers, because it's very important to realize why it happened, what you did in the mock. Secondly, I feel like obviously everyone analyzes their mocks from the answer key that they get from their respective coachings, like that PDF, I get it. But it's very important to also, I feel personally, discussing while mock analysis is a great way to understand your mistakes. You can always come on a Google Meet with your friends from the same coaching and discuss the answers of the mock and analyze the paper together. I think that's a great thing. It will give you a perspective on why their answer was correct, and it will give you a perspective of why your answer was not correct. So I think that's a great strategy. Coming back to my routine after the mock analysis, then I would get back to doing the target for the day. So apart from the targets for the day, what I would do is, whatever topic that I realized that I didn't do well in the mock in that particular section, I'd spend 2 hours on that section. I'd just pick up any book of that particular subject. For example, if I felt that it was analytical and I didn't do well in seating arrangement, I would pick out R.S. Aggarwal non-verbal reasoning, and I would spend like 1.5 hours or 2 hours on that particular topic and try to perfect it. Even if I was not, even if I know that it would not give me instant results, it will make me more confident for the mock the next day, that at least I had practiced my mistake yesterday. So if it comes in today's mock, I'll be fairly better than yesterday. Then I'd usually get done with my studies for the day by 12 a.m. to 1 a.m. I know that's not a great timing for a student who's studying, but I'd go to sleep and then I'll wake up the next day at the same time. And I would usually do this. On the days that I'd used to go and give offline mocks, it was obviously a more tiring day because the center was like 1.5 hours away from my home, like via metro, and 40 minutes by car. So it was still a very tiring day if I used to go and give offline mocks, which was the entirety of the last 3 months before CLAT and AILET. But apart from that, my routine used to stay pretty much the same. So, with regard to how much time I gave to each section in the AILET paper, so I went according to the order of the paper, which was English, then GK and current affairs, and then logical. So, what I did was that I dedicated 40 was the minimum, and 50 was the maximum for English. 10 to 15 minutes for GK and current affairs, but I would really try to get it done between 7 to 10 minutes. We should not spend so much time on current affairs, but even if we have to, then 15 should be the maximum time. And then the rest of the time, which used to be around 55 minutes to 1 hour, would go in logical, and this was my staple for 2 years. Also, one very important habit that I used to follow after my mocks was that once I was done with my mock, my analysis, my discussion of the analysis, what I used to do was that I used to go and take the mock and keep it somewhere outside my room. And I used to have a pile of my old mocks in a corner of my house, but the key was to never check it again, because whenever a mock would go bad, if you keep going after it and if you keep sulking with regard to it, then it can backfire. We always should prepare for the future, like prepare for tomorrow's mock. Do not focus on a day before's mock, or like focus on your past mock so much. It's okay if a mock is bad. Also, this also goes in an opposite manner. Whenever your mock goes well, obviously be happy, but don't get too overexcited or too overconfident. The key is to just forget about the mock once you have given it. It's very important to not judge your performance on the basis of one mock, and I personally would track my progress through the sectional marks of 2 weeks. So I would have my sectional marks with me always, like how much I scored in each section of AILET and CLAT mock both, and then I would compare every 2 weeks if I'm progressing or if I'm declining in my progress. I would check on the basis of that. It was never one mock that would decide how I'm doing. Coming to the books that I referred for analytical and critical reasoning, I used to use Analytical Reasoning by M.K. Pandey and Non-Verbal Reasoning by R.S. Aggarwal. These two books helped me the most. There are a lot of important topics in AILET which came from these books. I personally solved M.K. Pandey like twice, and the R.S. Agarwal book I used to practice after each AILET mock of mine whenever I would find that my analytical reasoning was wrong today. Like whenever I knew that I didn't do well in a topic in a mock, I used to instantly dedicate 2 hours to that particular topic on the same day. Like I didn't procrastinate it, or even if I would procrastinate it, I would make sure that I get it the next day, like done by the next. For current affairs, I used to follow 3 to 4 like the most important sources. For me, they were CLAT Express, the monthly PDF that comes. It is a very long PDF, but it is very informative. So that I used to also do Pratyogita Darpan. It is for UPSC aspirants, but the explanation part in it is amazing, and it also has static GK at the back of it, and the little information that it has after every single topic. It's amazing. I think every CLAT aspirant or AILET aspirant should also incorporate it in their preparation. I also used to do Manthan PDFs by Career Launcher, and I used to do GK Today, the weekly quizzes that come of GK Today. You can search it up on gktoday.in and you will find the daily quizzes. Also, something that I forgot to add in the current affair preparation section is that you obviously have to read the newspaper every single day. I personally read The Hindu. The Indian Express is good as well. You can read either of them. So for English, I mainly used to use two books. One was Reading Comprehension and Verbal Ability by Arun Sharma and Meenakshi Upadhyay, and the second was the GMAT official verbal guide. So I used to go through these books, and as I said, whenever I would go wrong in a particular section, so I would go back to the book of that section and I would give 1 to 2 hours to that book. Try to use newspapers for increasing your reading speed, because I feel that newspapers have a lot of similar passages and editorials that AILET and CLAT pick up. So that what I used to do to increase my reading speed with the help of a newspaper was that I used to tell myself that you have to complete the newspaper in a span of 25 to 30 minutes. You cannot take 1 to 2 hours to complete a newspaper, obviously. And I used to focus mainly on the editorial section. I used to skim through other news, obviously. So set a timer for yourself. Do not keep reading the newspaper for long hours. I In my last video I talked about a smart work strategy. Personally for me it worked better in just the hard work strategy. So in hard work, obviously we're studying for 10 hours a day, we're studying for 12 hours a day, and I need to tell you that that's not sufficient. No, I don't mean to say that you have to spend even more time than that. I'm saying that you can obviously get it done in less time than 10 hours or 12 hours. What I mean to basically say is that you can give 4 to 5 hours to a particular thing, but it has to be in the right direction. What I used to do the first time around, when I was in class 12th and I was preparing for this exam, is that I used to spend endless hours just studying, and I didn't actually focus on the things that were going wrong in my mocks. And they were actually very solvable, but I would just focus on the things that I was actually good at, and I really ignored really important sections of the paper. Like for CLAT, in CLAT it was maths was ignored by me, and time management was ignored by me. Logical I was not working consciously at, analytical I was not working consciously for. So all of this, but in the second time around I really consciously worked on my weaknesses, and it was not like I was studying like 10 to 12 hours a day, I'll be very honest. But whenever I was studying, I was doing the right thing. I was doing what had to be done, and not what I felt like, okay, I want to do this today because this feels right today. No, I used to work on my weaknesses even if I didn't want to. You need to work smart, because this is a competitive exam. This is not a school exam where you just have to blindly study each and everything. You genuinely have to strategize your preparation. You need to make sections and columns in your brain that yes, today I have to do this, I will focus on this. Yesterday I didn't score well in this section, so today I'll work on this. I think that's very important. Working on your weaknesses is way more important than trying to make your strengths even better. In the comment section of my previous video, there was also a lot of questions with regard to analytical reasoning, like how I handled that, because obviously AILET has the largest section of logical reasoning, and analytical reasoning dominates that. So how I did that was, so I have a list of the topics that are obviously that are the most important for AILET, and I'll just read them out, and then I'll tell what I did to make my analytical reasoning strong. So the most important topics are obviously syllogs, then input output, sitting arrangement, puzzles, cubes and dices, data sufficiency, blood relations, directions, binary logic, and calendars. Also, for analytical reasoning, I think it's also important to um, keep practicing these every other day, because now even CLAT has analytical reasoning, as we saw last year. So I think that's very important. What I would mainly do for the analytical reasoning was not that complicated, pretty basic. I would open one of MK Pandey or RS Aggarwal's analytical reasoning books, and I would just solve 5 to 10 questions. It wouldn't be even be 50 questions a day. Like, you just have to be in the cycle, like you just have to be aware of the questions every day. So that, and since I used to do it every other day, developed a sense of confidence, because I was always around those questions, they were in my mind. So that helped me have confidence in AILET, and that is what I would recommend, that analytical is very practice based. So every alternate day, just pick up the book and solve like 10-15 questions. So now we're towards the end of the video, and I hope that I was able to answer the queries that I got in the comment section, and I was able to explain my strategy, my habits, what I used to do in a day, my sources, everything nicely. Please drop down more suggestions for videos, what you would want from me personally, in the comment section. Please let me know, and I hope that you like this video. Please like, share, and subscribe, and see you guys very soon.